Right, so today is kind of a day that I hadn't really thought was going to ever come, but here we are. If you've been following the channel, then you will be aware of my project Micra by 1.8 turbo swap. But this isn't actually my first project. It's actually my third. So the Micra was actually my first car. Where is the bus? Once I had the Micra for, I don't know, about 8 or 9 months, I decided that I needed something a little bit bigger. And I had my eyes set on an Almera GTI. 3-door, 2-litre SR20. I always really liked the look of them, and it was just a sort of a bigger version of the Micra, really. I woke up one morning and when looking through Facebook, I came across an ad for a Primera GT. Primera is sort of a mid-sized car that you could get during the 90s. It was quite fairly popular, sort of your sort of bog standard family car. So I saw this ad and I thought, that looks pretty smart. I just remember seeing it there with sort of silver. The picture of it just looked really good, and I think it was up for sale for something like £600. Took the train to Leicester, which is where the car was, and it was a one-way ticket there as well. So I was pretty much committed to buying this thing no matter what. And I remember because I took my friend Ryan with me with a tool bag, and I remember waiting for this car to turn up. Well, I could hear it before I could see it. And then when I did see it, it was like climbing over this speed bump, scraping its front bumper over the speed bump because this car had been lowered, but it looked amazing. And the car looked smart, it was great. And so I bought it there and then, drove it all the way back from Leicester to Gloucester, where I live. And it was a blast, absolutely loved that thing. But I bought the car with the intention of completely stripping it down before I put it on the road and used it as my daily driver, and getting all of the issues out of the way first. And that was kind of a mistake. Well, maybe it wasn't. I mean, actually, it turned out it was a good job I did that. But long story short, the car was a complete rust bucket, which I guess is expected because it is a Nissan that was built in the 90s, and as such tends to, well, they just dissolve. I'd already disassembled most of the car, and the entire rear end was completely removed, and I'd started getting rid of all of the underseal, got rid of all the rust and everything, and it just got to the point where I could tell that there was just no way I was going to be able to adequately repair it. Now, this was a few years ago, and my skills back then were pretty much non-existent, so I kind of had the bright ideas, but I didn't really have the skills or the tools or the workspace to do it in. And where I'm heading now, as you will see, it is not the best working environment, and I wish I'd kind of known that. If I had the place I currently am working in now, probably would have actually succeeded in the project. But what you're about to see is what happens when you bite off a little bit more than you can chew. So we are here. Right, here we go. Here's where the magic didn't happen. So I'm going to open this up and I'll show you what's inside. Oh yeah, you're going to like this. Yep, you saw that right. That is how I used to have to get in and out of this thing. So, Nissan Primera GT, or at least what's left of one. It's actually really depressing seeing this in this state. Some chap is going to come pick this up today. I don't know what he's going to do with it. Most of the parts on this car have actually been removed, and they actually went on to help build up the car that I ended up replacing this with, which was Primera Estate. and I had that car for a couple of years, and I managed to take some of the main parts off of this, like the bumpers, side skirts, most of the interior, and I made a pretty cool car. I ended up selling that a couple of years ago after I got the Civic over here, and that car has actually gone on to become something pretty decent before the person I sold it to ended up then reshelling it. So those parts are now on a different car entirely, but it's still spiritually... Oh man, look at that. I don't know how many of these I'm going to find today. So anyway, yeah, the most of the decent parts have gone on to other things. So the engine, the SR20, that is currently sat in a friend's workshop, ready to be rebuilt. I think that's going to get turbocharged and stuck in, I think, a K10 Micra or something like that. And the shell, well, I don't know what's going to happen to the shell. I don't know if I really want to know, to be honest. First thing we need to do is actually pull this thing out. You look down here, we've got a bunch of suspension. This is the suspension out of my old wagon. I ended up putting BC coilovers on that thing. So this is the old suspension out of that. I'm going to put this suspension onto this car because this car has got lowering springs. I don't really want to get rid of the car with lowering springs on it. I'd like to take those off and maybe sell them, try and recover a bit of cost. So the car's going to come out, and we're going to do that first. Right, here she is. It's probably the first time it's seen the sun in about, I don't know, 4 years. God, what a mess. It's still got a tax disc on it. There you go, that's the last time it had tax. My favourite thing is, you can tell my childish optimism because I went around the car and started marking where all the rust was, and this was, as far as I was concerned, the worst it could possibly have been. However, is it this side? If we come around here, oh dear, that's new metal that went in. This is all rotten out. If you look in there, look at that, all just completely rotten. Down there, rotten. Sills, rotten. The whole back end is just completely rotten, and yeah, there's just no way this car could have ever seen the road again. I didn't really go into much detail about what this car actually is. So this is the GT version of the P11 Primera. Any American viewers who are watching this might know this as an Infiniti G20. It's basically the same car. The saloon version, or sedan, is actually not very common here in the UK. Most people actually bought the hatchback version, which was a bit more popular, and yeah, this was actually a bit sort of less of a common body shape. This is actually one of my favourites in terms of its shape. I think the Estate is my favourite shape, followed by this one and then the hatchback. You can see here where I actually restored this back panel, and it's actually kept up really well considering. If you look under here, actually this is kept up really well. Now you're probably thinking, oh, why are you scrapping this? All just completely rotten. Rotten, sills, rotten. But this wasn't the bad part of the car. This was actually pretty good already, so there was no real benefit to me doing this, and this is the reason why I kind of failed the project, because I was too busy focusing on the parts of it that didn't really need doing. I was spending all my time on this, and I wasn't looking at that, all that stuff over there. Oh, yeah, let's address that. So that is a well, actually what it is it's this. It's one of these. This is a makeshift rollover jig, and my intention was to actually use it to help restore this. The height of this just wouldn't have allowed me to do it. So I had it anyway, and I ended up just putting some casters on the side and then just using it as like a dolly, so I could at least wheel the back of the car around whilst it was in here. The rear beam is actually there, and I can't put it back on because I don't have the wheel bearings for it. I managed to lose them somehow. Right, so my plan now is I'm going to come around here. I'm going to jack the front of the car up, take these steelies off, and I'm going to take the front suspension out. Just going to take the whole strut out, and then I'm going to replace it with the stock front suspension, which is just in this box over here. Right, car's jacked up. I've got it up on the... Of course, an idiot like me would go out and buy axle stands that are way too big, and my jack can only go up so high, so I've got it rested on the lower wishbone mounts. Wasn't going to go by the sills because I wouldn't trust those as far as I could throw them. Obviously got the jack still tensioned as well. And get these wheels off and I'll chuck them underneath the car at the back as well, just because I also don't trust my amazing engineering over there. You can even tell that the front caster's lifting off the ground, so that's good, isn't it? Ready for race wars. That's a rear disc. Right, so Primera had some pretty interesting front suspensions. A conical spring on top of a shock, and then you've got sort of a top mount, and then you have this, I don't know what this is, it's like a center link, and then it connects to the knuckle with a kingpin right there, and then that just connects down to the bottom of the wishbone as you'd expect it to on a normal car. And I don't really understand how this is a good system, but the Primera was well known for being a very well handling car during its time, so I'm guessing that this had something to do with it. It does mean that pulling the coilover assembly out, yes, it is called a coilover. I know it's not an adjustable coilover, but it's still a coilover. Fight me. It does mean that I have to basically undo this, pull this whole thing out, and then there's a bolt down here that connects the bottom of the strut, and then I should be able to just pull it out like that. I had this same suspension on the estate version that I fitted BC coilovers onto, and I think you can probably already tell why having adjustable coilovers with this kind of setup isn't ideal, because if you need to adjust the ride height, you actually need to remove the entire strut, which is just a ball ache. Yeah, let's see if I can get this thing out. I'm sure these bolts are going to come out with no trouble whatsoever. Oh, hang on. Well, would you look at that? Maybe this isn't a Nissan after all. Maybe it's like another brand pretending to be one, because those actually came out really easy. So I just got the bolts at the top to pull out, and then this whole assembly should just drop out. So the GT actually comes with a factory strut brace, and so there's actually five studs that go through. So there's the 3 that hold the just the strut in, and then there's an additional 2 for the factory strut brace. And they all seem to be behaving, which is good. Nice. Oop. Right, it's out. So here's the factory shocks. Hello. 3 studs, 2 bonus studs for the extra sportiness that this car afforded its owner. Oh no, I've forgotten which of these bolts is the top one. Oh, yeah, pretty much answers it for me. Oh, this bit's going to be fun, isn't it? Hold on, no. Okay, it's done. That was actually pretty easy. I forgot how easy this was to work on. The only reason it was easy to work on is because I don't have to touch this thing, which is the kingpin pin. This is an absolute arse to get out. So if you needed to change the drive shafts, which, being a Primera, just Primera problems. This happened on both sides. There's a rubber dampener here which likes to trap water, cause that to just rust and then snap. Excellent design. So yeah, I've had trouble with that in the past. Not fun. Twice. Right, so that's done. I'm gonna get the other one in now. Not gonna film that because it's exactly the same. Back in a mo. Look who it is.
I know this for 2 reasons. 1, I smell brake dust, like burning brake dust.
2, it's a Mondeo.
3, the handbrake. There's nothing.
That's not supposed to sound like that, is it?
No.
No.
So one of my calipers seized up again.
Hey, doesn't this bring back old times?
I know, right? Sad to see it like this, but
Yep. Someone's on his way to pick it up on the back of a. Actually, I don't know what he's coming with. I hope he doesn't plan on towing it on a A-frame because it's got no back wheels.
shame you can't use some of these parts.
Do you know what I was thinking? I was looking at these and thinking, you know, I just spent the last how many like hours, weeks designing mounts. I wonder if those would fit. But I did have a look at these beforehand, and I pretty much instantly realised they weren't going to fit because that's flat. Yeah, so I've got the suspension swapped over. That's the coilover. They are coilovers. Just want to make that record for the video. They are coilover suspension. Technically
speaking,
they're just not adjustable coilovers. There's a difference. It is a coilover shock suspension assembly strut. Coilover suspension assembly strut.
it's a McPherson strut.
No, it's not a McPherson strut.
Is it not?
No, it's Nissan Multilink, whatever that means.
How? Okay. So please explain to me, how come it's not a McPherson strut? What's the difference?
So a McPherson strut is where the knuckle connects directly to the bottom here, like that. Like your car kind of is like that, except
on the rear it is, yeah. So on the rear it's like this. It has this separate shock, and then it's got the link bars.
Yeah. Whereas this connects to one of the suspension arms instead. So it's more similar to.
Oh, surely that would be on the sort of the actual hub itself.
No, it's not. No, it doesn't go on the hub. No. I wonder if I can.
I forgot your.
Actually, no. Go on the other side. There's no wing on the other side. So,
oh good lord,
you got this this thing.
This is kind of built more like it would be on something like a Range Rover, a Land Rover, where it's, you know, it's 4x4 inspired.
I've just put the steering lock on. Oh, what an idiot! Oh, what an idiot! I don't have the key. Right.
Did you get a key? Excellent, so I didn't need to remove that bolt.
It could be one of these three. One of these is for the Micra. I'm pretty sure that one is for the Micra. So we'll discount that one. Try one of these two.
Nope.
Oh.
Bear in mind, I did smash that with the...
Ah.
So excellent. I didn't need to remove that bolt then.
Nope.
Because...
Oh, what did you do? Did you decouple it?
Yeah.
You're going to have to potentially recouple it again, because you might need to steer it on the trailer.
It's only a spline thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice work. I guess if
Thank you. It involved removing of 4 nuts and 2 bolts.
Ah.
I'm glad that my skills are such that you're impressed.
So this is the correct key. I'm going to leave that in the ignition. That one, I don't even know what that's for. That must be for the wagon. Whoop. Just let it settle and then it'll be fine.
I trust that.
my hard work.
I remember watching you when you were doing all the grinding and prepping all that, and now it's just dragging along the floor.
Careful restoration under there. If you ain't scrubbing, you ain't dubbing. What an absolutely sorry state. Bye bye. Right. It's 12 o'clock and it's done. Some good time, I think. Car's gone. I cleared out what's left of everything that's in the garage. I bought a load of tools, so they're going to go up to the other unit. So now all my tools are together. Logbook sorted. I just need to send that off to the DVLA. I'm going to go home and shower because I feel gross. Right, I'm back again. I left the brush, left my sweeping brush, and I needed to put it back. I thought I'd show you what the old unit looks like now that everything's been removed. I need to come back for all this stuff. I've got some pipe here that I want to reuse for some welding practice, and then, but it's just tidy for now. Let me not forget that. I had to put the door here because this van is parked impossibly close to the wall. So I've parked impossibly close to his van. Put this back. I have had a shower, so I'm feeling fresh. Although I'm now in this stuffy car. I've got the windows shut so that the wind doesn't mess up the sound. Of course, my aircon doesn't work. My dashboard is recording 31 degrees Celsius outside. It's hot. It's hot for here. I have to say, it's been kind of sad watching that car go. I know it seemed like I didn't really care all that much, but I learned a lot from that project. The way I see it, that car went on to save a bunch of other cars. Its parts have been on all kinds of stuff. Some of its parts even ended up in the United States. I ended up shipping a load of parts over there because people like to make their G20s look like Primeras. I sent the spoiler over there. I sent the rear lights, the boot plinth thing, the Primera badges, the Nissan badge, the hamburger badge. Sent that. If you're watching from the US and you're a G20 enthusiast and you've got UK parts on the car, it might have actually come from my Primera. There's a whole stack of reasons why that project failed. So the first problem I had was the location. That garage is a standard UK sized garage. It's just I don't know what its size is dimensionally, but it's too small, basically. It is the exact length of the car, and it's only slightly wider than it. So you can just about get the door open, you can just about get down the side of it. There's no way anyone's building a car in something like that. In addition to that, it had no power. I used to have to get a long extension lead, plug it into the house nearby, and then stick the cable on the roof on the garages so that I could get power out. It had no water supply, and if it was raining, well, there was no chance. And the door, you saw you saw me take that off, but I got that down to a fine art. I didn't know how to weld. I still don't know how to weld, but you know what I mean. I didn't even have a welder, so I was relying on my friend Ryan to come and bring his welder over. At the end of the day, the car was rotten as a peach, so there's no way it was ever going to see the road again. And like I said, it's done its part keeping other cars on the road. So I'm happy that it managed to do that. I really do like the Primera. I still really love that car. It's a shame that it was never as well received as it could have been. I think the car aged well. I think it looks nice by today's standards. It has racing pedigree. It was huge in the British Touring Car Championship, among others, such as the Renault Laguna and the Vauxhall. Was it the Cavalier at that point, or was it the Vectra they were racing? I forget which. The Volvo 840. All those family saloons that would just rip around the track. The Primera was one of them, and it was a hugely successful car, right? It had racing pedigree. People kind of forget that when it came to the road car. I don't know, maybe it's just its plain understated looks, I guess, are probably more welcome now because people tend to just be a bit critical over the over styling of today's cars. I don't know. This is a bit of an impromptu video. I didn't really plan on doing this, but that's mostly because I didn't plan on anyone picking the car up today. It was just I just got a random Facebook message from some guy saying I'll pick your car up for you, and I was like, well, all right. Bloody hell! Yeah, the bikes are out. It's over 25 degrees, so the bikes are out. But I don't know. I thought maybe I'd just try a bit more of a vlog style video, more rather than the more heavily planned out videos that I normally do. I'll be interested to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below, because that really helps me sort of move the channel in a direction that is something that people actually want to watch, right? I don't know. I'm new to this, still trying to figure it out. Also, I recently passed 450 subscribers. I'm on my way to 500. 500 people is a lot of people. You know, that's like an entire school. Oh, primary school anyway. If you're not subscribed, then, well, I kind of have to say subscribe because that's just what the platform demands. I mean, actually, I don't care whether you subscribe or not, because most of the time you're going to get the video anyway, whether you're subscribed or not, because that's just the way the algorithm works. But the number means something to someone, so yeah, hit the button, I guess. If nothing else, it just tells me that you want to watch the stuff I'm putting out. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling on. So I'm gonna go to McDonald's. I'm gonna meet up with Naoki again, and I'm gonna go to the unit, drop this stuff off, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Oh, before I go, micro stuff is still going on. Basically, I've just got parts coming in and materials coming in. It's all coming together. I will catch you in the next one.